I told her I'm a journalist, journaling. I have a few questions, let's begin. And I'm a journalist, journaling. I have a few questions, let's begin.
In the days following the June 8th protest, downtown Los Angeles bore visible scars. According to city officials, over $12 million in property damage was reported, ranging from smashed storefronts and defaced government buildings to extensive graffiti across Little Tokyo and beyond. Nearly 40 vehicles were vandalized. Dozens of businesses were temporarily shuttered, and cleanup crews worked around the clock to restore public spaces. When I first arrived, I walked through the city documenting the massive amounts of graffiti sprawled across concrete walls, shuttered storefronts, and public signs. Some bearing anti-ICE slogans and others simple calls for justice. The visual aftermath set a stark backdrop for a neighborhood in recovery. Downtown businesses reported steep losses. Restaurants in Little Tokyo and the historic core said they suffered tens of thousands of lost sales due to property damage and reduced foot traffic, with some hospitality venues experiencing revenue declines as steep as 50 to 80% during the curfew and protests. One sushi restaurant estimated a loss of 30 to 40,000, while bars and cafes reported entire nights shuttered, staff hours cut, and canceled reservations. Many reported income drops of up to 75%, with customers too afraid to venture downtown. In the wake of the unrest, the federal government deployed 2,000 National Guard troops to Los Angeles, an emergency measure ordered by President Trump. This marked the latest in a series of historic military deployments to the city. The Guard was previously called in during the 1965 Watts Rebellion, the 1992 Rodney King riots, and again in 2020 amid widespread protest over George Floyd's death. Each time, the presence of soldiers on Los Angeles streets reflected a moment of national fracture and local crisis. The 2025 deployment drew swift backlash from California leaders. Governor Gavin Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass condemned the move, calling it a violation of state authority. Bass emphasized the need for de-escalation, not militarization, and accused the federal government of inflaming tensions. The state announced its intent to challenge the deployment in court, and several city council members introduced resolutions instructing LAPD and local agencies not to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement unless legally compelled. The visible presence of camouflage troops patrolling civilian streets deepened anxieties among immigrant communities and fueled further protest, revealing a widening rift between federal action and local governance. As the city worked to pick up the pieces, I returned to the federal building where the demonstrations began. I spoke not only with Mayor Karen Bass, who offered her comments while scrubbing graffiti from the walls of the Little Tokyo Museum, but also with individuals gathered outside the nearby federal detention center. Many had come to protest ICE policies and the broader immigration crackdown. Some were first-time demonstrators, others had spent years rallying for immigrant rights. Their voices, raw, impassioned, and often wary, cut through the noise of media cycles and political spin. As a journalist, I've learned that every voice matters, no matter someone's background or political stance. Together, these testimonies shaped my understanding of what this moment meant for Los Angeles and where it might be heading next. Without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy the special report. Thank you. Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Journalism Era. Right now I'm standing in Union Station, Los Angeles, California. Today we'll be checking out downtown Los Angeles to see how the aftermath of the recent riots look like, and just kind of check out the scene to see what the climate is currently in downtown Los Angeles. But with that being said, let's just get right into the episode. Thank you. kind of see that freshly painted over. Just a lot of graffiti is still up. You can tell just a massive amount. Let's go check out. Again, you can see just fuck ice everywhere. Not a good time to be an ice agent, I guess. You can tell just large portions of the street kind of just broken. Kind of got large signs that say death to ice. Graffiti, you can see there's a lot of aftermath, a lot of cleaning crews just working. The sidewalk is all wet, so I'm assuming that efforts are being made to clean up. A lot of the things going on here. You can see that this is a building that obviously was heavily vandalized, but just the efforts are being made underway to kind of get everything control. So right now we're at the intersection of Spring and First. You can tell that the whole street's kind of cut down. You got yellow tape everywhere. But yeah, again, you can see there's a lot of graffiti on the trees and whatnot. ACAB everywhere, just kind of like pasted over. Some more ACAB. You can see there's good portions of the Los Angeles Police Department was heavily kind of vandalized. But as you can tell, the building is pretty solidly squared away. The Times. Again, still massive amounts of graffiti just kind of all over the wall and whatnot. But you could tell they're still kind of working up on cleaning everything. Again, no shortage of graffiti around. Just a lot of harsh sentiment towards ICE, but yeah. Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Journalism Era. Right now I'm standing in front of the federal building on 300 North Los Angeles Street. As you can tell behind me, there's a presence of National Guard. But as you can tell, the scene in downtown Los Angeles right now is probably one of caution. Large law enforcement presence, and obviously with the National Guard here, they're anticipating further protest. But with that being said, we're standing at the corner of Temple and Los Angeles here in downtown, and you can tell that again, you know, the federal building is pretty marked up. You can see there's a lot of, I guess, anti-ICE sentiment that was painted onto the building. But with that being said, you know, we'll just kind of go around and check out how things start to develop over the day. Thank you. Hello guys, right now I'm standing in front of City Hall here in Los Angeles, California. With that being said, again, we're just kind of going around the city, checking out like the aftermath of the protest this last weekend. But we got to see some National Guardsmen just in front of the federal building on Main Street. But again, you can see that like city officials have not yet finished cleaning up all of the graffiti that's been put on the sidewalks and whatnot. But again, I hear a helicopter kind of circling City Hall, so I'm not sure if there are more protests planned for today. But for the moment being, it seems like everything is kind of calm for the most part, pretty calm. Life going about as usual. There's maybe a handful of protesters in front of the federal building, but other than that, it's just kind of like news media outlets and yeah, all the rest of it. So with that being said, we'll just kind of move on forward and see what else we can capture. Thank you. CHP is present here. They're closing off some of the exits. But yeah. Uh-oh. Look. So, Looks like there's some more protest happening. These are so Take two. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Journalism Era. As you can see right behind me, a protest has been erected. You can see that a lot of people, I would say roughly about like maybe 1,000 or so people have already just started to gather around in front of the federal building. So with that being said, we'll just try to get some interviews and see what we can capture. Thank you. So hey guys, Journalism Era right now. Protest is starting to form here just in front of the federal building that we were at earlier. So that being said, we have someone here that's willing to give an interview and just so she can share her thoughts on kind of like the recent protests. So go ahead and give us your first name and then anything you would like to say.
Yeah, listen, I am an American-born Latino Hispanic here. I was actually born in New Mexico. And I think that it's really vital that those of us that were born in the United States of America, those of us that have citizenship by birth, that we equally show up and they equally support our community, our Latin folks, our Mexican folks, the immigrant population in general.
The protests are beautiful, and I just want to say this is the new Jim Crow. This massive deportation is the new slavery. It's disgusting.
I think I love seeing them around the world, around all the states. I love it. We gotta show out. I really do think so. Donald Trump, fuck Donald Trump. I don't fuck with them at all. I think they get him out. I think these protests really show that, to show that we're not gonna let this happen.
I feel very ashamed of our American country, about our civil rights. All of our civil rights are being demolished, and we're just standing up and we're taking it. I did grow up in Compton, so I'm from Compton, you know? I'm from Compton. So, I mean, I come from the struggle. I know. I live with the African Americans and I know the struggle. And we're next, my people, my gente. We have to stand up. We have to say, hey, that's it. We don't do nothing but come out here and work.
I come from a immigration family, and sadly a lot of first gens, especially in the LA area, our families can't come here and support, so we have to use our privilege to speak our voice. It may not change everything, but it's nice to see how many people don't agree with this.
And I say this because not only is it affecting them, but it's going to eventually affect other minority and marginalized groups in this country. We already see what this regime is doing, this dictatorship or this fascist regime that we're really heading down. We're really heading down a bad path. And if we don't start now with what's taking place as they're breaking up families, then it's only going to escalate, and we are going to see the true downfall of America, and it's going to change forever.
I mean, just seeing kids out here in general, like waving the flag, like fighting against this is disgusting. Like, I can't imagine like my child going through this, my dad, my mom, like it's horrible. Like, there's so many stories, millions all over, like it's
Perfect.
I think these protests, they're really important because they're painting immigrants as these criminals that came to the U.S. to destroy everybody, and I think that's completely the opposite. These are just families. They're your neighbors. They're your friends. They're my friends. I have friends who are getting affected by this. I have coworkers getting affected by this, and nobody here is illegal. I don't believe anybody is illegal. The United States, especially California, we're made of immigrants. They think that by getting them out, it's gonna improve their economy and all that bullshit, but it's not. If anything, it's gonna worsen it, because who's gonna do the jobs that everybody else doesn't want to do?
They're coming into our factories, just taking up anybody, but you better believe they only took one truck. They had 30 trucks in there today. 30 trucks, only one left with anybody in there. I could hear them banging. They were banging, okay? I would bang back. Don't give your name, don't sign nothing. You have rights, whatever. I did what I could.
You know what? I just wish people were ethical. There's a difference between being morally and ethical, this is generally super wrong. And there's immigrants all around the world, but I feel like when it comes to the immigration that's coming on right now, it just feels very targeted towards Latinos, But let's keep it a buck, Latinos are what make this country, If you were to ask anybody, the majority of people are gonna tell you that Latinos are the most hardworking people here, because a lot of our, families, they came from nothing and they wanted to come to this country to have a better life. But they knew, they were realistic that it wasn't going to happen because they're not going to have the same opportunities as us. So they worked, and because they shared those work ethics, they gave it to me. So for me, I want to be able to give the life that my family wanted me, you know, to live that American dream. But right now that we're here, it doesn't really feel like the American dream, you know?
Of course. Thank you, Hector. That was a very powerful piece. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ariana, for that interview. That was really good. I do appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm not on camera.
Okay, thank you. Andres, right? Yeah. Nice to meet you, Raj. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate your interviews. Thank you. Thank you. That was a really powerful message. I appreciate your time, Joanna.
Yeah.
And then, thank you again for helping out the independent journalism. Every single interview we get does really make a big difference. But
Thank you so much. Single mom from Compton. I'm still out here. I get out of work, I come out here protest. That's every day. Pop the heels off, put on the Timbs. Let's go, baby, let's go. Let's hear some noise. That's all I gotta say.
thank you. I appreciate your time. That was a great interview, and that was great.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you again, guys.
Thank
Mrs. Bass, I just had a question. My mic was muted, and with that being said, I was wondering if you could just say what you said again in some way, shape, or form, and this would really help out the journalism page. But yeah.
Journalism page for what,
Independent journalism. Just cover everything. I've covered the UCLA riots. I'm UCLA grad. Graduated with sociology. So just, following with sociology.
So I want to support the independent journalists, but to me today, I am here trying to clean up my museum. I want to make sure that people in Little Tokyo know that Little Tokyo is a part of Los Angeles, and I'm a part of Little Tokyo. And I was horrified when the vandalism took place, especially of an iconic museum like this that really tells the story of immigration in our city.
You're right.
And sometimes the abuse of the federal government.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate those words. Thank you. Thank you, Miss. I appreciate you. Now, my GPS looks pretty good. Yeah, I've just been using the old reliable.
Exposure is very... God, this feels so different to use it again. Trip I documented with the camera.
Yeah, man, yeah, well, videotape you getting back. So the world's
Back in America.
World's best sun-paid intern.
Here, let me see. Wait, do you have the aux? Place it there.